So Wano Country thus far in the manga has been on fire. On fire, my goodness. Ever since chapter 1000 plus, we've been really enjoying a lot of the content going down with the manga in terms of the fights, in terms of the comedy, in terms of the drama, in terms of the tension. Honest to goodness, when it comes to fights in particular, what we saw at the rooftop, you could argue some of the best group fight we've seen in the series, potentially. Even though I still prefer the Oars fight, this fight with Kaido and Big Mom against the Supernova has been very enjoyable to see, without question. That being said, despite all the great stuff for Wano Country thus far, there is enough in the room that I do want to discuss, because I think it is, at this point in time, I'm leaning more towards it being the case rather than it being not the case, which surprised me because last year I would say for sure this is happening. But now that we're in March and this is still going on, I wanted to address it for a quick little video. But before we get to the main topic at hand, a brief word from our sponsors.
Let's do this.
So today's sponsor for this video is none other than Surfshark VP. No! Surfshark Alerts is today's sponsor. Moving up on the world, no doubt about that.
Well, we're moving on now.
Now, what is Surfshark Alerts? Well, essentially speaking, it's an online service that scans for breaches in your personal information. So things like password, things like email leaks, things like your credit card information, things like even your social security number. Surfshark Alerts can scan for all of your personal information and to make sure that everything is okay, no breaches, no cracks, nothing. So for example, some of you guys may know, if you follow my streams, that a while back, bless her heart, but my mother is a bit older, and my mother got caught up into stuff involving her social security number. That was a big deal for us, obviously. But with Surfshark Alerts, it actually becomes far more easier for myself and my brother to actually track her information to make sure that everything's okay and nothing is going on. That's very important. I also checked my own email to see how that was, and my email did have several breaches, which kind of surprised me. So Surfshark Alerts covers a lot of bases, obviously, when it comes to my online security and my online safety. And on top of all of this, Surfshark is also located, as usual, outside the Five Eyes, which is an extra layer of protection for your own privacy online. Very important. So, that being said, you use code COLALERT, not Cole, but Cole Alert. So the full thing, KOLALERT, to get 75% discount on a 1-year plan and 3 months free. Plus the VPN service, because y'all know me, I need that VPN. I go on very dangerous parts of the web, for wholesome reasons, obviously. I need that VPN. If you already have Surfshark VPN, then you can get Surfshark Alerts by just doing a quick little upsell, not a big deal at all. And if you're new, the VPN service is still free if you get Surfshark Alerts. So once again, check it all out, link in the box below. Thank you, Surfshark, for being awesome, and now let's get on to the video at hand.
For in the grim, dark future, there is only war.
So getting right into it, I want to give a quick shout out to DDD, member of the Mega Church of Katakuri, a citizen of the Realm of Lightning, who brought it to my attention, who reminded me that this is a possibility, a good possibility. And this stems from a One Piece podcast episode 657, Little Enru Face with Big Mom, lol, funny picture right there. And in this, you have the One Piece podcast crew, in particular Steven, the translator of One Piece for Viz Media, talk about the acts of One Piece.
Next question comes from DDD. I was sure it would switch to Act 4 by now, Wano, but it looks more and more likely like a 3-act play. What do you guys think it'll be, a 3-act or 5-act or something else?
I've always said 3 acts.
Yeah, I was under the impression it would just be 3.
I'm just along for the ride.
I know the 5-act thing is popular because people like looked into kabuki stuff, and like there's certain rules about that you do, and I think it's just the fact that nobody else on the podcast is like so deeply into like One Piece theory crafting on Reddit or wherever else that I don't think anybody else has been like, oh yeah, it's got to be a 5 act structure. Not here, at least.
Spicy.
A little bit
Spicy stuff. The thing here is this. I earnestly believe that we're going to have a 5-act arc. But now that we are 1,007 chapters deep into the series, and we are significantly deep into Act 3, and it's still Act 3, I'm starting to believe at this point in time that maybe Wano Country is actually going to be a 3-act arc. I believe that Wano Country will probably end this year, 2021.
What?
I'll be stunned to see it end 2022. The first part of Act 3 was the Odin flashback, and the anime right now has done a fantastic job adapting that, but the anime is at the beginning of Act 3 of Wano Country. At this point in time, the manga is only a few chapters ahead of the anime, but Act 3 is still a very, very long act thus far. But we've had Chapter 1000. We see Luffy's first punch against Kaido. We have the group fight, Kaido, Big Mom versus Supernova. We cut away from that whole thing. We go back down toward the lower levels, and we're still in Act 3. Pain! Still in Act 3. That surprised me. I've been saying it here or there, where I'm kind of surprised that we're still in Act 3. The first main reason is Oda's timeline. Oda wants in the series in less than 5 years from now, because Oda right now is 46 years old, and then he wants to be done come around the time he's 50-ish. So let's say 51 years old, 52 years old maybe, because he said before that he actually wants to go out and travel. And I also recall him having an interview with the author of Rurouni Kenshin, where he said in the interview, I believe that was that interview, where he said something to the effect of being a weekly Shonen Jump mangaka at 50 plus years old isn't a good thing. And we all know, obviously, how much of a burden it can be on a lot of these people. Like Tite Kubo at the beginning of Bleach with the sunglasses, stully as all hell. Come the end of Bleach, it's took a beating. Wow, these boys put in a lot of hours every day to get out the content for folks to enjoy across the world. That's the first reason, Oda's timeline. The second one is other arcs need love too. In particular, other arcs need love too. And even though Wano Country has been a tremendous arc so far in terms of scale, in terms of importance, the fact of the matter is that we still have many more arcs to come. And Oda has noted repeatedly how hyped he is for the final arc, the supposed war that will encompass the entire world. So these things need a lot of love and they need a lot of time. And if Oda has a timeline in place, I'll be very surprised to see Wano Country still going on after this year. Again, before we get to the final war, there should be 3 or 4 arcs, maybe, hopefully 3 or 4 arcs before that. And one of these arcs, given the statement that was said about the Grand Fleet after Whole Cake Island, should involve the Grand Fleet, I think, before the final war. So the Grand Fleet, as far as I can tell, is not coming into this arc. I think we are well beyond the point of the Grand Fleet coming into this war, especially now that Tama and Hiri, probably Hiri, because I'm assuming it's her with the Shadows of the Scabbards, they're now owning Kashima, and they're gonna play a big role. Actually, no, Tama already has played a big role, because with her abilities, she's mind controlling the gifters to now join the good guy side. So the number disparity is now, of course, dwindling because of Tama's abilities. And then we have the island now. The island is actually closer than I thought to the mainland, because we see the giant Mount Fuji in the distance in latest chapter One Piece 1006. So let's say we cut back to Luffy, Kid, Law, Zoro, and Killer versus Big Mom and Kaido. And we haven't changed Act 4. Then I think at that point in time it's a guarantee.
English, motherfucker!
I think at that point in time it is a guarantee that Act 4 and Act 5 is not going to be a thing. Because Act 4 could still be a thing, but Act 4 is going to be the wrap-up to the arc. Like at the end of Alabasta, after all the fighting, like a post-Alabasta, where they're recovering from their wounds, having a feast, and then they leave, that kind of stuff. So in Wano Country, they're recovering from their wounds, have a feast, and they leave, all that kind of stuff. So that could be Act 4 in a nutshell. So Act 4 could still be a possibility, potentially. But Act 5? Oh, no. this could genuinely be a 3-act arc, which for me is, again, last year, there's no way, but right now, yeah, it is for me the big old elephant in the room for Wano Country, because since there's going to be potentially no Act 4 and probably no Act 5, then this means that certain things that I wanted to see are probably going to happen. So for example, in this situation, for a 3-act arc or 3-act play, the tragedy would be Yasue's death. That's a yikes for your boy, because I want to see good guys die in waves. We're fighting against a Yonko of the Sea, 2 Yonko of the Sea, and no good guys die except for Yasue, who in the grand scheme of things, who was Yasue really? Like, honest to God, Pedro's death had more impact in Holy Island than Yasue's death. You cared about Toko because that was her father, and all she could really do was laugh because of the smile devil fruit effects on her body, which was really sad to see. But Yasue, especially in the manga, because in anime it's executed way better without question, but in the manga, Yasue just rolls on in with Zoro. Oh, hi guys, oh my god.
Stop it. Get some help.
And you're like, who is this dude? And then he dies. And his impact is like, oh wow, we are able to fool Orochi to saying it was all a prank. It was just a prank, bro. Actually, Kanjiro, nah, stop lying. Why you always lying?
Why you always lying?
So, that being the tragedy of this arc pains me. The Scabbards have been so gung-ho on dying. And when Law transported them, when he teleported them to safety, I was like, wait a minute, no.
Bruh.
No way. No way, no way, right? Among various other things that I want to see, if this would be a 5-act play. For example, I'm not too sure now if Hawks' prophecy is going to apply to Luffy and Zoro and company at the end of this arc, and that could be like a next arc thing, where he said there'll be like a 92% chance that you guys will be alive come a month from then, or at least a few weeks from then. So there are certain things that I have expectations for, especially where we're fighting against 2 Yonko. And even though we may still get these things in one act of Act 3 and maybe Act 4, if we don't have 5 acts, then in my mind, there's a less likelihood of these things happening. If the tragedy really is Yasue's death, but we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see how it's going to play out in the near future. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope that, let's say, when we do come back to Luffy and company on the rooftop, it's going to be Act 4. But if it's not Act 4, then
That is crazy.
Then my outlook on the arc from then on has to change. It just has to change. But on that note, let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. Be sure to rate the video. Not that hard to do, because I have a device called Zamaoshu. You use Zamaoshu to click, rate the video, to click, subscribe, to click on that bell to join the squad. Peace out. Stay safe. Have a nice one.